What is good, guys? Welcome into the video, and in today's video I will be giving you guys my review of MLB The Show 22 Diamond Dynasty. I'm going to go over things I liked about the game mode this year and things I disliked, and then at the very end I will give you a score out of 10 for how I think the game mode as a whole was this year. If you guys enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like below, and if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. But let's jump right in. So I'm going to start off with things I liked about Diamond Dynasty this year, and then later in the video I will jump to things that I disliked or just thought could be better. So starting off with the things I liked, I just thought content this year was solid. Nothing crazy, but also I don't think it was underwhelming either. So I don't know. I think it was pretty hit or miss though. I think they crushed some drops, and then other content updates, I don't know. They were whatever. Nobody really cared about them too much. And then the other thing is I liked how they didn't drag on most of the featured programs too long. If I remember correctly, last year, I think a lot of them, most of the reward or featured programs were like a month plus. And this year, I think they did a good job of each one being different. You know, maybe one was a month, one was 3 weeks, the next one was 2 weeks, the next one was a month again. So I think they just kind of switched it up a little bit, and I actually liked the shorter featured programs as well. I know we had one that was like 2 weeks, a few that were like 3 weeks, so I like that. Personally, I like the pacing of the content releases too, meaning like the progression from, starting out at high 80 overalls and then moving up to 99 overalls, I think just made sense, and I like them holding off on 99 overalls to like August or whatever it was. But I will say that, having high 90s on day one for collection rewards should probably be changed in my opinion. And I saw people talking about this on Twitter, how they should hold off on 99 overall collection rewards for the beginning of MLB 23, which I totally agree with. You look at this year, and on day one, we basically had an endgame 99 Randy Johnson. And that should not be a card on day one, and I don't know. And I think I never really thought about it too much, but I don't know. Just thinking about it a little more and hearing other people talk about it, I agree that in MLB 23, I hope they change it up. I thought all the big collection rewards were really good this year. Other than Mantle, these were not the craziest names necessarily, but all of them were just really, really good cards. You had the George Brett, the Andrew McCutchen, the Jimmy Rollins, and the Mickey Mantle. And, you can make an argument all of them are endgame cards, which is exactly what we're looking for with those big collection rewards. Even George Brett, the first one, the one that's, the quote-unquote weakest one, but he was amazing. I think he even played better than what his attributes showed, and, his attributes still were very good, so I loved all of those guys, all of those big collection rewards. And moving on then, the next thing I liked was, just in general, I think this is a Diamond Dynasty thing pretty much for any year, but, you can get the best team in the game by being no money spent, which is impossible to do in 2K or Madden. And so, as someone who's no money spent, I appreciate that. I like how you can get these really good cards, the best cards in the game, just by grinding the game. And as someone who's mostly offline, I'm probably 75% offline, 25% online for Diamond Dynasty. I thought mini seasons was a good addition, but they need to keep expanding the mode next year. So this mode was a fantastic idea, and for offline grinding, mini seasons rewarded you very well with a ton of packs and stubs. And, I just like the idea of it. It makes sense. But hopefully next year, they keep expanding the mode. They added in a few, mini season specific player rewards, like the Willy Adames, for example, but they just need to keep... If they stayed on top of that, I think people would have played mini seasons even more, and I think that's something they need to implement next year. Just be more consistent with the mini season specific players. You can also add in other unique rewards to mini seasons to get people on it, and to get people grinding it, and just overall more depth to the mode is going to get more people on it, and I just really take it to the next step. And I think mini seasons definitely has a lot of potential. And then the final thing that I like that I'm going to go over in this video is the supercharging. I think the supercharging players was a really cool addition. I just think they got a little lazy with it. they were great with it the first few weeks of the season, and then end of season and postseason, but the rest of the year they just got lazy with it, in my opinion. But I think it's a really cool idea because you can use, after the first month or two, there's no great reason to use live series cards normally, but when you add in the supercharge ability for these players, it's a good way to pick up some of these live series players or just use them if they're sitting in your inventory, and they're going to be high 90s or 99 overall. So it's a really cool idea, but again, just poor execution, kind of going back to the mini seasons thing as well. Just poor execution on their end. So now moving over to the things I disliked about the mode this year, and one of the biggest disappointments to me was them just completely stopping new content by late November, early December. And I know they usually stop it early, but this year it felt even earlier, which I don't know if that means MLB 23 is going to come out sooner or not. But yeah, I don't think we need a crazy amount of content of, like a few times a week in December through February, but something like one small new content drop each week or every other week with new cards would help keep people on the game until the end of the game cycle, because now people are, there's nothing new on the game, nothing new to grind, so people are moving to other games. And then the next big disappointment for me, and this is what, a lot of people talk about this one, but it's just gameplay in general. A ton of inconsistencies with gameplay is really the issue, and also the hitting engine just being pretty much broken, especially, you really notice it on online, but it is just broken in general. It just seems like a complete roll of the dice. You'll get perfects, and there'll be foul balls, or there'll be, infield groundouts or lineouts. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the PCI placement really doesn't seem to matter. And, you got great PCI placement and it'll be a ground out, but then, your PCI will be a foot off of where the ball is, you'll make contact and it'll be a home run. And it's just like, okay, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. And as someone who uses pinpoint pitching, I just think there's a ton of inconsistencies with that as well. Kind of just a roll of the dice. I guess maybe unless you have someone with super high control and BB9, but even then it just kind of still seems like a roll of the dice for pinpoint. And the player's fielding overall, just doesn't really seem to matter. And there's lots of just inexcusably bad fielding plays, especially on line drives or foul balls. Like my players will be in a good position, the ball will be coming to them, and they'll just literally just not catch the ball, which, these are major league players. You would think they could make a simple play. And then the final thing I'll say about gameplay is just overall glitches. I come across some really bad glitches, and that's just something they need to clean up. And then the final thing I just haven't been pleased with this year is, so the online reward cards for the most part were good and kind of worth grinding for, but they still need to find ways to freshen up the online modes and get creative with it, because the grinds would almost always just be a super painful grind on BR, for example, and just not very enjoyable. So why would people stay on the game to grind if that's the case, So I just think they need to find ways to get, just get creative with it, innovate, and find ways to make the, online modes just more enjoyable to grind and get the cards. So if I had to rate my Diamond Dynasty experience this year out of 10, I would probably go with a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. And in general, I think they played a lot of things safe, and pretty much every aspect of Diamond Dynasty was the same as last year's, other than them taking out Team Affinity, which I don't like. And I definitely could have covered more in this video, I just didn't want it to drag on too long. But let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of Diamond Dynasty this year. And yeah, any other modes within MLB The Show 22 as well, and what they should change for MLB 23. But I appreciate everyone for watching, guys. Peace out.